I think there's different kinds of consent, and for me, when I found enthusiastic consent, that was something that really resonated with me because I think sometimes, like, I think I would be involved in a situation where like things would start rolling, but I never really stopped to ask myself, like, am I really into this? Like, is this really what I want to do? Like, what are the things that I really feel excited about right now that would make me like, you know, have that big yes? Like, what would that feel like? But then there's also informed consent and like making sure that people have all of the information that they need and that you need in order to be consenting to something. And then there's exploratory consent, like being able to have a conversation with your partner where it's like, hey, I want to try this thing and I don't necessarily know where it's going to go, and it might be a little awkward, or there might be a moment when we need to stop, and like what would that look like for both of us to have consent in that kind of situation where we're trying something new or doing something that might not be like within our comfort zone, where we're trying to push ourselves. And yeah, so I think our understanding of consent sometimes can be very basic when it's actually like a very nuanced thing that I think we have to stay in constant communication with our partners about, and like first and foremost with ourselves.
Absolutely. And understanding that consent can be, you know, taken away at any time. I can consent to one thing, but also, you know, oblige to the other. And so, again, as you had touched on, exploratory consent is definitely something that, you know, it's like, I thought this was going to feel good, but then it doesn't necessarily feel good. But again, having that trust as a foundation when in those situations. So, yeah.
Can you 100? This is my thing. Can you 100% really be safe all the way around? Like, I remember growing up, and my older sister used to say, you know, if you get ready to go on a date, they have to come outside, and she would have a Polaroid, and she was, damn, I just gave her my age. And I was like, she would take a picture of the license plate, and they'd walk around him and ask for his ID. You know, then as life went a little further, it's like, show me your papers, I'll show you mine. And that was the big thing. And then I started learning that people can fake those papers, and you never know what you're getting into. So can you 100% have a safe space? A safe sexual space is my question, because yes, I can have a safe space and tell you this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is my safe word, and I'm 100% safe. Like, I'm 100% never had an STD, I'm 100% this or that other, and I can give you that with my mouth. But in all actuality, you know, females and males, like me saying that, how far are you gonna go, or how far have you went in the past where you made sure that that was validated? You know, because we get caught up in the lust part of it, and I think the lust part of it kind of shuts down the door for the safety, because you're in that moment, you're in the here and now, you're in that, okay, he's touching this and you touching that, and he done kissed this and you done felt on that, and now you want it. So where can we be 100% safe? That's my question, is can sex be 100%? Because for me, it can't. You can never have a 100% safe sexual space. Even if you're clean, you still gotta hope that I'm gonna remember your safe word, or hope that you're gonna remember mine and let me tap out when I'm ready, or when I say I'm done, you're gonna stop. You know, it becomes this big old snowball effect of what safe sex can be.
Yeah. Well, and I think also the language of 100% or something being this or that is like, it's language that doesn't allow space for people to define things for themselves. And ultimately, what's going to make me feel safe to engage is going to be different than each of you and everybody else. So like, but I do think at a base level, there are things that I know that make me feel safe. And it's not necessarily like a step process, but like for me, communication is a really huge thing. And if it doesn't matter if I'm meeting someone at a play party and I'm gonna have an interaction with them for one night and never see them again, or if I am with a partner that I've been with for a year. Like if we don't have good communication, to me that is like a red flag of like, how deep can I really go with this person? Because when we're in an intimate space, like, I think there can be a lot of pressure for things to feel sexy all the time, but sometimes stuff gets awkward, and sometimes, you have to laugh about things that happen with your body or with toys or like whatever the case may be that are a little bit uncomfortable. And can I feel safe to like stop you and say like, this isn't working for me? Can I feel safe to communicate what my boundaries are? What are the things that I'm interested in trying and the things that I've maybe tried and I know are not really for me? But like, I think that is something that base for any partner, and even with myself, is really important, is being able to have that communication. And then I think trust is huge too, because I don't think you can ever really be like 100% safe in any regard in the society we're living in. There's just so many things that are outside of our control, but I have to be able to trust myself that I'm making good decisions and that I am in tuned enough with myself to follow what feels right. And then also energetically, when I'm meeting people, I have to feel like safe, or like have to feel that trust with them. It doesn't mean that they might not like break that trust in some way, but I also have to trust myself to be able to deal with those situations when they occur as well, and to set boundaries.
Yeah, I think being mindful is really important also, because there are situations where I'm feeling a little reckless and it's like, okay, well, let me go and, maybe not be so safe. So making sure that I'm okay in my own right. Again, safety can look very different with different partners. Sometimes, you could use a little more caution with one more than the other, but having a baseline is important, but also being mindful of your mindset and how you're showing up as well is very important.
I can't speak for everybody, but I say speaking for myself, when I have been in certain situations, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna do this, that, and another, and that's it. And then I find myself being placed in a situation where sometimes lust will change that mindset. Lust will be like, and even if you're not having, because lust will kick in, and you don't even have to be in a sexual environment. Lust can kick in through a text, like, oh, so you say. What else can you do with that? And then lust opens a door to change that mindset for whatever reason. So that's my thing, is like, maybe at times my mindset is altered and my boundaries are sometimes lifted because of the lust setting, or you see that you've seen it and you wanna pursue it and you like it, so you wanna take that extra step, and safety goes out the window for me. It's like, it goes out the window, not as far as my safety. I'm not saying I'm not condoming up, please, y'all don't go calling my mama telling her I said that. But I'm just saying, as far as safety for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, like you said, whether it's a one-night stand or a person you've been with for 5 years, or a person you just met and you just understand through a person and you like them sexually, it all becomes like, where do your boundaries lie? Where does your mindset take place? Where do you change that your point of view? Like, how, I don't know this person doesn't know me, but we're gonna take that next step to become one and share a lot of energy, to share a lot of vibes, to share some bunch of bodily fluids, and we're taking it here. And again, it could be somebody for a one night stand. Where's that safety lies there? If you're just talking about safety for he's not gonna Michael Meyer me, that's a different thing. You know, that's a different safety. Okay, you're going off vibes, but if you're going off your temple and what you allowing him to come into as a woman with an open wound, that takes it to a whole nother level for me.
I get you.
And especially, you can even pop it into, if you go spiritually.
Yeah.
Like, it's taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have to be a holy water Christian, just being a spiritual person, it takes it to a whole nother level when you desecrate your temple and let somebody, because anytime you're having sex, you're doing your thing. But it's like, you know, come on, where does that part of the safety come in at? Because to me, in the Bay Area, that part is thrown out the window. People are meeting and greeting and having sex in the back of a club, on a dance floor. I've seen it happen. So where did that part of safety swing back in is where I want to start focusing.
I think that's interesting too, because like, I think that I think it can exist that you can be that reckless and still be safe, but it's all about what you determine works for yourself and like what your baseline is, what you need from an interaction in order to feel safe and to make those things happen. Like, I'm a reckless girly. I love to have a good time. I love shenanigans, mischief, like I am down. But on a baseline level, there has to be certain things like communication and trust in place, and I have to be able to check in with myself in order to feel comfortable like going there. Yeah.
But the communication and trust comes from knowing, right? It comes from sharing that. And if I'm dancing on a dance floor with you, how are we developing that communication and that trust? Just by dancing. There's no way to do that. But yet we're still going forth in a lustful manner. And if I lift my skirt, you can't tell me as a man he's not going to toot toot. And that's what I'm saying, that doesn't develop communication, that doesn't develop trust. So where is our safety in that manner? Because you don't know who you lifting your skirt to, and he don't know who he diving into. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta, for me, and I only can speak for me, and I'm not saying that I'm no prude, because y'all, Lord Jesus. My daddy might, she says it's gonna be on Comcast. Let me be good. No, I'm saying, let me be good, because I'm saying that I love sex.
Yeah.
And as I stated, sex is something important to me. It's an art. I love to paint it. My body paint it. My mind paint it. I love it. It's something I love. I mean, I cherish it. Jesus Christ. But you got to keep that. You got to keep in mind, especially this day and age, where the safety comes in. It's not just in the trust. And it's not just in the communication. Because I can communicate whatever I want to you, and then you go down and take a lick of the sticky and be like, next thing you know, you got a bumper, you got a bum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That can happen. But that
I
can
was
happen
clean.
with someone that you've been with for 5 years.
It can, but
or
listen,
20 years.
That can
you
happen.
You can never trust anyone.
That's not true. Okay,
1000%.
so now we.
But let me respond.
Okay, but you said you can't trust nobody.
Because you asked me a question too. I don't think that trust and communication always comes from a knowingness of time and space. And I do think that you can be on a dance floor with someone and still communicating very deeply with your bodies. And so what I am trying to highlight is that for some people, that the requirement of safety is not knowing someone for a long time, but it's other things. And I think it can be true what you're saying for you, but it could also be true for other people that is different.
And that's what I said. I didn't speak for me. And for me, communication and trust, it can happen. I've communicated with this young lady, and I have a sense of love and trust for her. I told her, I said, listen, we just made a bond here. Because I haven't known her a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It's a communication, it's a trust, it's a bond, it's a love that all of you developed. Trust and believe, I developed those quickly with people. That part I'm not taking from it. I'm not saying that you have to trust somebody after a few years, because I have gave trust to people and after hours. Not saying that at all. What I'm saying is it's not just about a communication and a trust when it comes to safety, and for each his own, and to everybody is different. And I'm a fly by the seat of your pants type of girl. And if I see you and I want you, I'm gonna tell you I want you. And 9 out of 10, I get what I want. I'm keeping it real. So it's like, you have to keep that in mind. That safety, it does lies for different for everybody in different,
very much so,
different realms. But the safety I'm speaking of is the safety of your vagina, the safety of your face, the safety of your inside.
from going to play parties where people are having very casual sexual exchanges with one another. I think that in that environment, we call it like negotiating. So before you engage in a scene with someone or a sexual activity with someone, you have a conversation, you talk about what both of you are interested in, what you're willing to try, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get down to it, but that doesn't mean that in the moment, like, things don't need to stop if they're not feeling good for you. So there's been moments where I've been in, I would say that that's like a high intensity situation where we're like, close off and something just it doesn't feel right, and we have to pause and we have to talk about it. And then I think that there are other situations where maybe I've been with people that I'm super familiar with, super excited, like where we just have like a knowingness and the connection. We've been doing this for a while, but then something may happen emotionally or physically, and we need to like pause to have a conversation about those boundaries too. And I think for me, that's why communication is so important, because if we can't have those conversations, then for me, it's like, can we really be having sex? And that is like a huge foundation for me, but yeah.